Laura and Jack had always loved the quiet of winter. The idea of spending a weekend in a remote cabin surrounded by snow sounded perfect. No phones, no distractions, just the two of them. The snow began falling lightly on the first night, but by morning, the storm had turned violent. The cabin, once cozy and inviting, now felt like a prison, with howling winds rattling the windows and drifts of snow blocking the door. On the second night, the storm knocked out the power, leaving them with only the fireplace for warmth. They huddled close together, listening to the wind batter the walls. Then, at exactly 11:15 p.m., they heard it, a faint knock at the door. Jack stood up confused. Who could be out there in weather like this? The next night, the knocking returned. Louder this time. Jack checked the windows, but there was no sign of anyone. Desperate for answers, Laura turned to the cabin's old security camera system. She rewound the footage and froze. There, standing in the snow, was a figure cloaked in shadow. It didn't move. It didn't leave footprints. And as the camera lens flickered, its shadow flickered too. Unnaturally. As though it wasn't bound by the rules of this world. The storm raged harder on the final night. The knocking had turned into pounding. Each bang echoed through the cabin. Jack and Laura barricaded the door and windows, hearts racing. They thought they were safe. But then, the sound stopped, and the silence was worse. When rescuers arrived days later, the storm had finally cleared. But the cabin was empty. The fireplace had long gone cold, and snow covered the floor. Scrawled across the frosted walls were two words: "Let me in." To this day, no trace of Laura or Jack has ever been found. Some say the figure was a spirit of the storm, seeking warmth and shelter. Others believe it was something far darker, preying on the lonely and isolated. But one thing is certain. Sometimes it's better to leave the door unanswered